introduce our esteemed guest today, Sylvia, or better known as Jojo. He is the current supervisor of Project More at Beaten AIDS Coalition Trust, and he will be explaining a little bit about the services that they offer from testing all the way to case management. So please give them your undivided attention, and if you guys do have any questions, please type them in. We'll have Lane and the other board members looking out for those questions, and they will ask Jojo your questions. And so, without further ado, Jojo.
Well, again, thank you, and thank you for having me here. And it is wonderful information for everybody out there to be aware of what we do as well and the services that we offer for B8. B8 is still operational during COVID times, so if anybody needs to be tested, we have that available as well. I think I'm going to ask for a little bit. So, as I was mentioning, with COVID going on, B8 has still remained open, doing testing events, trying to still educate the community out there and the services that we offer as well. So don't hesitate to stop by offices and get tested. So as Leo mentioned, I work for B8, I've been here for about 4 years already, and we do provide, our mission is to provide the highest quality of HIV/AIDS prevention, education, and services reaching out to the community. So that's our main goal, the services that we provide to our community around here. So, like we mentioned, from beginning to end, we'll talk about testing, services, and what we offer as well. Beginning with testing, as anybody else, we offer testing regarding HIV, STDs, gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, and hepatitis C. And the way we screen out people when they get tested, we just ask them, what was the last time they got tested? Have they had STDs in the past? If they have, which ones? Because depending what STD you have, or any STD, just, it can put you at higher risk of contracting any other STD or including HIV as well. So we need to have that in mind. Once we expose our bodies to something, we are more prone to catch something else. So the next step after testing, some of the questions get a little bit personal. But this is nothing to see what type of person you are, but just to see how we can better serve you and provide the best services and preventative services for you as well. We offer condoms, lube, female condoms, dental dams, and if you want to ever use those, we have those available as well. Those are just to protect your face in case if you're doing any type of oral jobs, anything like that as well. We go around the bars as well to promote testing, Pegasus, the strip, all the bars are, Cobalt, 800, Derogatory, all those bars, we go out there, set up a tent or a minivan, and we just offer recruit people from there. I know a lot of people just want to go have fun, for the night, have a few drinks, go home. But keep in mind, at least you go home with the thought in your mind that you're safe and you tested, and you know your stats, so you can enjoy your night better that way as well. We have 3 programs right now that we work with. Project iTweet. iTweet tests people from ages 13 to 29. Anybody that has sex with men, transgender, male to female, female to male, anybody's welcome to get tested. Also, EPIC, ages 13 to 55 as well, NSM, people that have sex with males. And as well, we have Project More, which is the one I'm in charge of. We just started off last year, and we ended the year really good with the project, so we got renewed again for the project, so that's a good thing to hear. Project More, primary focus right now is Hispanics right now. Secondary as well is African Americans. Again, like we said, we don't refuse to test to anybody. If everybody wants to get tested, it's good. We don't refuse anybody. We're more than welcome to come get tested. With Project More, we offer Voices to Voices. It's a intervention class where we talk about condom safety, condom negotiation class. How to ask the condom question right to your partner, or your friends with benefits you have one of these days. So when the condom conversation comes up, you don't kill that mood by then you're still being safe about it, and goal is to have you protected and be safe out there as well, knowing all these resources for you too. We have HR classes, healthy relationship classes. That class is a 5-day session class. It's about an hour or two long. It talks about how to disclose your status to friends, people you love, family members, partners, anything like that. Okay, and how to cope with it as well. Okay, it's a very beneficial class. You haven't taken it, as it is for you to take it. Anybody's welcome. You get compensated for your time. It's a $50 gift card as well at the end of the 5th session. IP offers 3MV, many men, many voices, is like a good sex education class that I should say. Talks about condom usage, how to, have the right conversation, STDs, how to avoid STDs, what to look out for STD symptoms and HIV, and all that stuff as well. The class is also for about 3 or 4 days. It's about 12 hours a day, and you get a $70 gift card for your time as well. And that's only from 13 to 29 euros that we are looking for to have that class as well. So anybody's welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us through email as well. So you can get better information on that too. Moving on this one, besides testing, we have linkage to care specialist. The linkage to care specialist works with our grants with Epic, More, and Brian White and iTreat. So the linkage to care specialist, what they do, they assist our clients with making their first doctor's appointments. If you need a ride, we can go pick you up, take you to the doctor's, back to your home, back to work, or wherever you need to go, as long as it's within parameters of your doctor's visit as well. Something you need. You need to go to the groceries on your way home. We can get a quick stop, get you your groceries, and on the way we go back to drop you off. We provide transportation, like we said, educate our clients with the continuum of care, how to stay in care. We want to be sure you don't fall out of care. We want to be sure you are stress-free of anything that can cost you from preventing you going to care. Like we mentioned, you have transportation, you need a light bill to pay, rental assistance, anything like that, we can help you with that. Okay, all with the communication as well. You communicate with us, you'll hear from us again. Okay, so we want to be sure you stay healthy and care for that too. Also, we try to eliminate any barriers as needed to encourage our clients as well to remain in medical care and maintain their medical adherence. If you need for us to remind you every day at 1 p.m. or 2 p.m., hey, you know what, time for your medication, we'll do that for you. We want you to stay at home with your medication so that way you can accomplish your goal of being healthier and being undetectable as well. Or even if you don't prep, hey, your prep medication is already on time. You need to take your pill. Good, awesome. Further reminder, send you a text, an email, or we'll call you. The point is, to get you safe. That's our goal here with BA Institute. We have 2 clinics. Your Church Clinic, YCC, 2207 South Zamora, and the new one here, Fredericksburg Road, 230 East Fredericksburg Road. That's San Antonio Care Center. San Antonio Care Center is primarily open for testing, and it's also one of our prep clinics. We offer prep. Anybody interested in prep? We have friends that want to get a prep. The process is very simple. Since COVID started, we made everything digital. We have tablets. So if you cannot come into the office, we can send you the emails and fill out the information. We receive that email, and we just call you back to set up an appointment to come in for blood draw and do the intake. And after that, you're set to go. It's very simple. We try to make it as less as possible, as riskful for people to be out there, avoiding contracting, COVID or anything like that as well. Yes?
Is PrEP expensive?
Good question. So, a question was, is PrEP expensive? Yes, it can be expensive. There's some people that decide to pay out of their pocket because they don't want that to be reported in their insurance for some reason, because then some insurance will call and see what services they're getting with us. So, PrEP can cost between $900 to almost $1,400 a month for a 30-day supply. Thankfully, we have our pharmaceuticals like Gilead, for example. It's a patient access program where it can cost you as little as nothing to maybe $50 a month to pay for your prep. But that covers your labs as well, and it's every 3 months of follow-ups, okay? So if you have insurance, we can work with that. If you don't, we'll find a way to get you on prep. And our priority is to get you on prep. We don't refuse prep to anybody, whether they're high risk or not high risk. If you want prep, we'll get you on prep. You can stop prep at any time you want, but it's optional to people as well if they decide to get on prep. And that's a great, and what my advice to people, if they ever tested for any type of STD, it's better they continue with prep, just because their body was exposed to something or not. Yes, sir.
What if I work at like fast food or I'm self-employed?
Fast food or self-employed? We have some clients that are working like fast food restaurants as well, and
I don't have insurance.
that's fine. We'll get you situated with prep either way. We'll find a way for you to get you on prep. Okay. So
Thank you.
all it is, you provide the information, and we'll take care of the rest for you. Okay. Okay. Any questions regarding
So-
prep? Yes.
With prep, so there is a cap. Let's say, I do work 40 hours, I do have insurance, I'm just not out like that. So will y'all still be able to cover me for prep?
Okay, so your question is not to use your insurance, in other words?
Yeah, I don't want to use my insurance because I don't want to out myself saying that I'm on prep because already they're gonna know that I'm gay, and I don't want people to know I'm gay.
But straight people also take PrEP.
Yes. Prep is for anybody. Now, it's for anybody once you get out, whether you are gay, straight, or not.
But he has a good question.
Yeah, so if you don't have insurance, if you don't want to go through the insurance, that's your decision, then that's fine. We don't ask you to really go through the insurance, but if you have it, it's beneficial for you because you don't have to pay nothing out of pocket. Sometimes, okay?
But you don't let the insurance know.
It will go to the insurance. It has to go to the insurance.
But if he wants to pay out of pocket,
He can pay out of pocket.
but it will not go to the insurance.
No.
Okay.
It will. Yes, ma'am.
Actually, it does go through the insurance. They have a way of finding out because we have people with insurance get denied because they say you were trying to cover the fact that you had insurance, but we found out. So it's, tell them if you want, or, find out, maybe do it yourself and request the assistance from the pharmaceutical yourself.
Yes, and that is true because we get phone calls from the insurance of the people, whatever insurance the people may have, or patients, and they ask, well, I need some record information regarding this patient, what services they're getting because they decided, for prep insurance. Okay, we can disclose that information because on top of that, they need to sign a waiver that we can disclose that information. But we don't deal with insurances, that will be separate from us, so we don't disclose any information regarding that. Yes, sir.
Does the pull-out method work like PrEP?
I'm sorry?
Does the pull-out method work like PrEP?
Does the pull-out method work like PrEP?
Oh, I'll get you that in a little bit, okay? Yeah, but
Oh, okay. I totally forgot that for me.
So while he's thinking, okay, so y'all do testing at home. So
I'll go on.
So if I can't go and get tested, because I don't want nobody knowing that
That was
I
my
may be
question.
positive or not, when you come to me and test me, you said that you would go to my home, correct?
yeah, so we do have our staff that do home testing. With COVID right now, we usually screen out the person first, if they have COVID in the past or anything like this, or they're sick, or temperature, things like that. The reason for home testing is to make you more comfortable at your home. Okay, so that way we can get the information that we need to better assist you and more private for you as well. Now, if you don't want us at your residence, our vehicles do not have nothing on it that describes that we're there for testing, or just test or anything. We don't go with all the signs on top of us that we're here for testing. It's just casual dress. We get there, we're not going to do our come in, get tested, and now we go. Now, the other option we have is a home drop-off test kit, which means we have an envelope that has the OR swab. We go drop it off at your residence, and we'll drive away and we'll call you and take you step by step how to do the OR swab test. From there, you do the OR swab, you wait about 20-15 minutes for your results, and you'll see your own results from there. After that, we can email you your results with a secure password to your email that nobody has access but you with that password. So those options are more safe for people and more private for them as well to do that.
So I guess my next question would be, what is the turnaround time after I become positive?
Okay, so we have a process called rapid start. Say I were to test somebody today, and at their home test, and they come back with a reactive test for HIV. My next step is to see if that person has time to bring him into the clinic and do a rapid start, which means get your blood draw, send it to the lab, and get the confirmatory test back to make sure that test is the same as the first test. That
Do you do that test at B-Days or you go to the clinic, like to the fax or?
We do that test, we do it at Santiago Care Center.
Okay.
We do the rapid start test.
Santiago Care Center,
Yes.
that's all Phillipsburg?
Yes, correct. Okay, so we do rapid start there, and we get the client, even while we're waiting for the confirmation test to come back, we get them on the medication right away. Now, say the test comes back and the lab is negative, then we'll just tell the client to stop taking the medication. It will say false positive. If the test still comes back positive for HIV, then at least we know that client's already on medication the same day we diagnose them, and we'll just continue from there from the appointments, follow-ups, and whatever health services they may need as well.
Okay, quick question. You said if they come out positive that day, that morning, they're taking medications by that afternoon?
Yes,
My question is, am I wrong in this? Or you could explain to me better? You probably
No,
won't.
that's okay.
If you're positive for HIV, my strength could be different from his. How do you know that medication is going to work for me?
That's why, for now, we just give, the way the doctor is, when we bring in the patient and do the blood draw, then we just go from what we have at that time. That's why we try to make it as soon as possible. This is rapid start,
Okay.
so we can get that confirmatory test back faster.
And then the medication then could change.
It can change, that is.
Okay.
It can change at any time. So for right now, they can just say, they can start you on Victoria for now as an example.
And how long?
Okay, Victoria will work for you, so we're gonna start this one out because we got your results back already.
Okay, how long does it take to get the results back?
We usually take it to the local lab here, so we're talking about within a day or two.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so rapid start, our goal is to put somebody and diagnose them within 48 hours as soon as we do that first test, initial test.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
That is also the same procedure at other clinics, not just ours, but other ones that are sponsored by the county, and I don't wanna mention names,
Yeah.
but that's the exact same procedure, and they're doing the same thing, they're giving you meds, and the meds may or may not work, but based on some of the factors you've given them also, that's what's going to determine what it is the doctor gives you too, just based on what you said. And so I've asked that question too, Marc, so thank you for asking. But I've asked, well, if you give them the medication, what is the chance that they're going to become like, what do you call it? Resistant to it. They said there's not enough time for that. And I've talked to the doctors about that. So I was also concerned with that, like, how do you know that medicine's even gonna work? And the answer was, we're doing it to potentially stop the spread. If it doesn't work, then we just move on to another med, but it's not gonna cause resistance. So rest assured that if any of the doctors are giving meds, and that's a question I was very concerned with too, so I'm glad to see people asking those questions, because it is legit, and it was my worry also, but no need to worry.
Yes, sir.
Which problem? Is there genotyping done on the blood at the time to make sure it's the right type of medicine? Because she said I could have one type of virus and or somebody be infected with a type of virus that's already resistant to certain medications.
Correct. So when we do labs, it goes for everything. It's like a physical, in other words, okay?
So
So
they
it
do
detects
detect.
everything that needs to be detected to help you get the right medication for you.
Yeah.
So our doctors are really good. They're really checking everything in depth to make sure we're getting you the correct medication for it. Okay?
Go on.
Second question.
Yes.
Is rapid testing just here in San Antonio, Bexar County, statewide and nationwide, or?
It's nationwide actually. It's part of the 90-90 goal as well that we have. But yes, rapid start is the sooner we get your medication, the faster it can become undetectable as well. A shorter
Shut up. I have a quick question. If someone comes out positive for HIV, and if they choose not to take the medication right away, is there anything you guys do for him or her?
That's a good question. Thankfully, right now, the years that I've been here, we haven't had anybody that has given us that pushback that I don't want to take medication right now. But if that were to happen, then we need to find out why the person does not want to start right away. Maybe they have a lot of things going on right now, you know, that maybe this is just on top of one issue that they have. So we try to negotiate something with that person regarding, okay, if you don't want to take the medication right now, that's fine, that's your choice. So how about when can you start? When is good for you to start your medication? So how can we help you to make sure you start your medication 3 days from now, like you mentioned? You know, what's preventing you from getting on your medication? So we have counseling available as well. If you want to try to speak to your counselor, we have those available. So we have a lot of things available for them, right? But our goal is to do get on medication as soon as it's available for them. Did you have a question? Yes, sir.
I just want to add to that we were talking about some.
Sure.
So last year, some of us did the Gilead Science training,
Okay.
and when you were talking about when they were asking about getting people in, you know, right then and there on medication, some of their newer medications are actually designed that they are for a person that has just been tested positive, and they're also on the other end are for people to retain undetectable in that one pill regimen.
Correct, yes. Yeah, so that's why it's important for us to do that rapid test right away, so we get that blood draw, results right away. So that way, like you said, get them on the right medication.
But you guys do more, oh my God, can I talk today? You guys do HIV testing, but you guys do more than HIV testing,
Yes,
right?
we do HIV, STD, gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, we do hepatitis C. Because I know some people that we have tested in the past are happy drug injection users. So that's a higher risk for them, not just hepatitis C, but also HIV. Okay, and I know the years that I've been here twice, like in my testing year, we found 2 people that have contracted HIV by sharing, injections. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. We just educate people. And that way, I bring up the testing for Hep C is if they have tattoos. That's one way to contract hepatitis C. And then we have a conversation with them. And we don't want to make them feel comfortable just to have tattoos. No, think about it. We have tattoos, if you're not going to a shop where it's more clean, you're no risk of contracting any type of hepatitis C. But if you go to a friend's house, it's dirt, it's debris, it's not sterile, it's dirty, you can contract, hepatitis C. And, I think the HIV virus, if they don't change the needle from the next person to you, it can still be in the needle and within the ink, if they use the same ink as yourself, you can contract HIV through tattooing myself. This happened a case in Mexico, 18-year-old, 18th birthday, first tattoo. Next thing you know, a week later, he started sick, diarrhea, he's growing up, he has a lot of fevers and everything. He went to get tested, he got a tattoo, HIV came from a tattoo. That's the last thing he ever got from the week that he started getting sick. So we need to be really careful when we go get tattoos as well. Some of us, it's cheaper here. Yeah, but what else is cheap, Yes, be really careful with that too. Good questions. Appreciate those questions too. Yes, sir.
I have a question for you. Let's say somebody's tested someplace else, they're positive, but they're coming to beat to get services. What is the process to get them to beat AIDS, to get them the services that they need?
Okay, for example, say they've been out of care for the past 6 months. Okay, so the person already knows their diagnosis, they know they're with HIV. So if they've been out of care for the past 6 months, that qualifies them as a back to care individual.
A what?
So back to care.
What's that?
And that means they're coming back into care.
Oh, okay.
So our first step to do is still go ahead and do a test for HIV either way. Because we need to have that proof of positivity still. After that, once we get the results back, then we go ahead and check when was the last time they ever went to a doctor and which doctor it was. Depending if it's a local doctor, we could probably just call them out and get that consent form signed to get their release of information. So we can see where was the last time we went for a visit, what was the last medication they took, and maybe what was the viral by then. Because maybe they have high viral loads, they've been out of care for the past 6 months.
So,
You know?
I'm gonna play the devil's advocate with this. So, let's say I'm the client, look, you already have my paperwork. You already know I'm positive. Why are you asking me again? Because I'm sure you get that a lot.
Yes, we do. Yeah, no, yes, we do get, people like that have that little attitude, but it is true.
We're laughing, but it is, y'all get it a lot. No, it's very serious because you get those clients that, know that they have to do this every 6 months.
Yeah, so here's, like, say you came to me like that, with that attitude. My goal to you is to just, make you understand the reason why we need this is so that way we make sure we don't give you the wrong services that led you why you fell out of care that day. We want to fill those gaps that you didn't fill for you, that we can probably do it for you, But that's why. And it sounds irritating, the whole process again. Yes, kind of stuff, but maybe throughout the process, we'll find what made you get out of care, and we'll fill it out for you. We'll fill it in for you, so that when you stay in care with us, and we get you the best services we can get.
Keep out of care because you kept on asking the damn question. That's why. I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, I'm glad you explained it because there are a lot of our clients that get mad. Look, I've done this already. I've been with y'all X amount of months, X amount of years. I'm tired. I don't have the paperwork. Also, I may be homeless. So if I'm homeless, I'm not going to carry all that paper with me.
Correct. So in that situation, if somebody were to be homeless, then that's where we go in and we tell you, okay, I understand you're homeless, and I understand your frustration, coming in and doing all this paperwork again. If you don't have that information, that's fine. All I need is your name, social, all that stuff. We'll figure out the rest from here. But our goal is this fine, get you a place for now where we can settle for now. Okay? While we will work with you.
Would that also apply from someone that's coming from another agency, wants to come to B-Days because they're not happy over there? Do they have to go through that whole process again, taking the test and all that?
Yes, we do, but not a lot, but what makes it short is that we can just call the other agency. Like I said, sign a release. We need his POP, his proof of income, all this stuff information. Send me their file, and we can just get started on it. So it cuts short how it's going to do that. So they have to get the whole process again. Yes, ma'am.
As the intake specialist for an agency here in town, I can assure the clients that they're not going to go through a lot of difficulties with me. If they were a previous beat client, I'm going to go ahead and say it, why not? If they were a previous beat client and they have shown me their proof of positivity, that's not something I'm going to ask for again. However, I will ask the questions for their proof of residency, proof of income, and ID if they still have it. If not, there's several different forms of ID I can accept. However, the reason that I ask for that paperwork is because the government asked me to ask for that paperwork. It's not a decision that we've made on our own, and in order to get the funding that gives you the services, that's the requirement I have to fulfill.
Okay, what if they don't have a job? What if they don't have a house, a residence?
That's quite all right. There's other paperwork they can fill. There's a homeless eligibility document that they can fill out stating that they have nowhere to live. There are supporter statements that say, well, I'm living with my aunt and she knows I have HIV and she takes care of me. I'm going to give them the supporter statement.
What if they don't have that? You still help, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We don't stop it.
I think you need to sit over there.
We don't stop it very much to help them, but we are required per the government, and so we assure them that it's not something that we would ask, that we sympathize with their situations. We know people are homeless. We know people are out on the streets. We want to take care of their HIV, and I will work with you personally to make those documents come. I'm not here to keep you from care. I'm here to give you the care.
Pretend if I was homeless.
Okay.
Live in the streets.
Okay.
Did not want to carry my HIV meds with me because I was afraid my bag would be stolen and what have you. Is there
Which has happened to a couple clients.
Is there a way that B-Days holds the medication, or can they not hold the medication? Or do you refer them to someone else to do that?
We cannot help medications for clients.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because then we'll become liable if we were to lose the medication, and just, it's vital information, the labels and stuff
Yeah.
for the client, so we cannot keep that ourselves at all.
And what happens if he's homeless and does lose his medication?
If
And it happens more than, let's put it, say it happens more than twice
Yes.
in the same month.
Then we will need to find out, what areas they're at, I guess, like, like walking around, or if just sleeping on the streets, if not somewhere safe. We're gonna try our best to get them somewhere safe, themselves as well, because like I said, there's some medication, they're not getting medically adherent. What if they tell us, well, I hang out at Travis Park, I'm always there around this time and so forth, okay. So then our goal is to keep that in mind and make our note to ourselves, okay, he or she said at this time around Travis Park. Then we go walk around that area, make sure they're okay. Hey, you have a medication? Yes, okay, don't forget to take your medication. Boom, that's it, easy. But yet again, you can fall asleep, somebody can pass by, take the backpacks away, take those medication. If that were to happen, I mean, we still want to get the medication no matter what circumstances somebody comes by, our goal is to still get it back to the medication. But that's if they want to do it.
Have you guys ever, sorry guys, have you guys ever declined a client from giving them medication after they've gone through this process 3-4 times in a month period? I mean,
Well, what I've experienced, we haven't had. No matter how difficult a client gets, we just don't refuse them.
who pays for these?
I'm just jumping in, you're talking about race
I'm sorry.
So, if you live in Bear County or any county surrounding us, and if you're in the situation where you're homeless, you're going to be using Ryan White Part A funding. Ryan White Part A funding does not turn anyone away.
Correct.
If you any agencies that you want to pick to be your medical care team, you walk in there, you will not be you will not be turned away whatsoever.
Correct.
So, sorry, Mark.
No, but that's understandable, but if they keep on losing it all the time, I mean, just a bottle of Victarvi, what's the price on that?
That's like
Doesn't matter, they still get it.
Who pays for these medications?
I'll tell you, it's like-
All right, there's too many people talking.
Guys, quiet. One at a time. Me. Who pays for the medications?
Jade,
I shut up.
Wayne was talking. Go ahead, Wayne.
Wait,
Part A, Ryan White.
They keep paying over and over again?
Yes, no one has ever refused service.
But they're expensive, correct?
Yeah, they're like
I
19
don't know how many the medication costs because I don't pay
I'm
for
sure, I don't know the exact price of how they do that, but I know that if you were gonna pay for it yourself, it would be, it's $1,895, but the way that this is set up, it's at a different price, so they're paying, like if you get on the Texas HIV medical program, they pay everything, but or whoever the local AA is, the administrative agency, they get it from the state and then they do the transaction there and it's at a different price. I don't know
Because
why.
my insurance pays for mine.
What's that?
My insurance pays for mine.
If you have insurance, it'll
Yeah.
cover it, yes.
Yeah, but I don't, you know what, I really should look
Now,
into it.
your
how much it costs.
insurance might say, hey, you've done it this many times, we're not gonna redo it, but I would think if you have insurance, obviously you're not gonna be in one of those categories,
Yeah.
one of those people.
James?
Yeah, I'm gonna, real quick on the Victarvi, because I actually picked it up today. It shows how much my Victarvi was. If I paid for it out of pocket, it would cost me $1,989.28.
a bottle.
A bottle.
Yeah. And
So that's how much the Victarvi costs. Now, quick question. Now, this is a quick question for you. Let's suppose somebody comes into you that's they've tested, let's say they went to Metro and got tested and they tested positive. They've not seen a doctor yet. They've not seen anybody. Do y'all refer them to a doctor so y'all can start the process for them? Or?
We will start the process with them. And the thing is the same process. We're gonna test you first to be sure that what you're telling me is true that you are diagnosed with HIV, even if you haven't gotten care anyway. Okay, so that will still be a newly identified because they haven't gotten to care. They're just going for what the doctor told them. Okay? So and we start the process, we're gonna test you for this, for SAs and HIV. Depending on what comes back, we will start the process.
But would you refer them to like maybe the fax clinic or something so they can go see a doctor or?
No, we have doctors there.
Oh, you have doctors okay.
That will see the patient for anything.
I'm gonna jump back in there, Joe, again, because when you were talking about the 90-90-90, we're a fast track city, and like you said, our goal is a 48-hour turnaround on newly diagnosed. So every clinic that can give service, they are already, like you said, that day they give you say a rapid test, you're walking out with medication, and you probably seeing the doctor the next day.
Yeah. So we try, I know our goal is 48 hours, but we have 7 days.
Yeah.
To put the client on medical care and linkage care. But we are trying our best to at least 48 to 72 hours time frame window. Because the better we do it that way, the more we have a smooth process for them, and the less stressful it's for them as well to get into care.
Can we get more in depth of it's best not to be bareback? Doing bareback if you're both in different strands.
Well, let me ask you this.
Was that a curveball? I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. I can cut lots of things out. Barebacking, yes, it's very useful, but depending the strength that you have, more likely in the U.S. It's only HIV-1. HIV-2 is usually not in the United States. It's out of the country.
Okay.
Okay. But viruses can mutate too. You never know. Maybe yours is higher than his, it's not working like this, Next thing you know, there's a mutation within the virus. The best thing to do if you decide with your partner, that you have, and you both decide to have, having sex, bareback, anything like this, then always get checked and see where your strength stands. Go get blood work done. Okay, your HIV stands here, this is your viral, and this is his viral. And then just go from there. That's the best thing you can do. These services are free.
Yeah, but a lot of people who bareback, like Santiago, that don't use condoms. I don't go up to someone if I'm gonna have sex with them and ask. That's not gonna come out of my mouth.
Correct.
And it's
like an example.
It's like I'm not gonna ask you what's your viral load. Did I say that right? Correct? Okay.
Okay.
Stuff like that. I'm not gonna, but I'm gonna tell you I'm HIV positive. That I will tell you. And if you tell me you're HIV positive, I'm still gonna do the deed. I'm gonna ask if you're undetectable.
Yeah,
but a lot. I'm not saying a lot. It could be every once in a while someone may not be undetectable or tell you they're undetectable.
right, but when they tell you they're undetectable, you ask them, well, what are you on? So when they tell you they're not on the same.
I cannot even tell you the medication I'm taking because it does not stay in my head. It's
Well,
just,
you
it's
just
just
write it down.
I
Take a picture of it.
I take
No,
three
but
pills.
you take multiple medications.
Yes,
Right.
I take 3 pills.
See, so your strand is always going to be different because you are taking multiple. And that, again, I'm going by what my doctor told me. So if you're a Biktarvy and he's a Biktarvy, your strands are pretty much going to be the same. But if you're a Biktarvy and he's a Biktarvy, or non-Biktarvy, but he's on another medication and he's taking it maybe 2 times a day, and you're only taking once a day, now you know that their strand is totally different.
Do you take HIV meds twice a day? You can?
There's some people that are taking medication, but it's because they're taking something else with the whatever medication they're on.
Okay, so let's have Jojo continue on with your presentation. No more questions, please.
You told us to ask questions.
I know, but he needs to get through all the other services Beat offers before we
But
can.
it's okay, but I'll research that because I want to know about that as well.
All right.
So thank you about that. So that's good. Yes.
I got
So
you.
I'll research on that too. And I'll probably get an answer.
Thank you, Jojo.
Okay.
Love you.
So another thing that we offer is safety. Safety is a task that we do is 3 or 4 days or so. It's regarding substances, alcoholism, drug addiction, alcohol, coping mechanisms, how to stay away from it, and things like that. have job readiness classes as well. Bus passes. A lot of people come for bus passes. Bus passes are every month, okay? Usually it's on the 10th or 11th, depending where the date falls. But usually we have the clients call in just to be sure the bus passes are available before they go to the offices.
Can
Because they don't
anybody
wanna waste
qualify
their
for
time Go to the office waiting outside, nobody
He
answers.
said no more questions.
If you do have any questions, you can call Sylvia and she will be able to answer.
Okay, can you put the number on, Facebook Live, please?
If there's clients that wanna, get into GED, if they didn't graduate from high school, we can help them with the visa tasks as well. We have intense case management, which are people that have coming out of prison as well. If they want to continue with the medication, we can get the process started as well.
So what does BEAT stand for?
B stands for Black Effort Against the Threat of HIV and AIDS.
Okay. And when will y'all start
You're not to ask questions.
COPA again?
COPA should be every Friday. We're doing it virtually right now.
I haven't seen y'all.
But that is a question you should be asking Sherman, the couple facilitator.
Yeah.
I'll give it to the facilitator to take care of it.
So y'all gonna bring me the tacos?
Huh?
How do you?
How you gonna do it virtually? What the?
That is a question you should be asking the couple facilitator, Sherman.
We'll do like a little competition and then like this.
Okay, thank you.
We'll throw them at you while we're talking about it.
If you have female friends that are living with HIV, we have female support groups as well, okay? Or anybody that may need that itself too. We have the male support groups, like you said, COPA is one of them as well, okay? And of course, if anybody's interested, we can refer them to your support group help here as well. Okay, so it's really good way you're doing this as well. We have City of San Antonio COSA Services, which is owned by Many Empowered Women. It's a transitional facility. It's not medical case management. These are if any women are homeless, that are living with HIV. We have housing referral services, educational assistance, job readiness, employment resources, and resource services anywhere else they need to be referred to as well. We have EFA, which are emergency financial assistance, and TBRA, which are tenant-based rental assistance. Okay, maybe if you ever need that type of services for anybody living with HIV, we can help you with that, but we need to get notified within 24 to 48 hours what services you need so we can find that the right connection with everybody else to get you in the process of that. It can take time sometimes, but the sooner you communicate with us, the faster we get started on it right away. And this is usually a first served basis. So whoever comes first gets the benefit of it. If not, there's a waiting list sometimes, but we will eventually get to you and help you with what we can. So anything that we need for documentation to be eligible for services, again, like I mentioned earlier, the proof of positivity, proving that you are dealing with HIV.
I don't know that.
Proof of income, if you do have a job, you know how to support yourself too. Proof of residence, if you have a residence, if you're living with a best friend or brother, sister, aunt, or uncle, as long as their residence is there and you're established, we can take that. Photo ID, Social Security, and insurance if you have any. If you do, good. If you not, that's fine. We can still work with you on that. Yes, sir.
Okay, so how do I get a proof of positivity?
Proof of positivity. Say you're getting services not from BDA but from someone else. You can ask them for the proof of positivity, or we can call them. They can fax it over to us as long as you sign the consent form to release the information that we need.
So what if I had tested positive at the van when I was out there, when you guys went to go to one of your events or something, and I tested positive there? Would that positivity from the van, would you guys?
No, we still have to wait for the lab results to come back. That's the proof of positivity.
Oh.
Yeah, we still have to wait that to come back, but that doesn't stop us from starting the services with you. So while we get the positivity back, the proof of positivity, we'll already start the process for you. So when we get that back, you're almost already done with the services.
Oh.
Okay? Yes.
Go ahead, Wayne.
So when you're doing the rapid test, do you guys also draw blood right then and there to go to do the proof of positivity?
Yes, so, good question. So, yes, so we're out and about testing people for, testing services. If something were to back positive for a HIV test, then we need to ask that person, do you have time right now so I can do a blood draw? Because your test should be active for HIV. If they say yes, all testers with B-AIDS have blood draw kits. We all train how to do blood draws. If somebody does not know how to do blood draws, then we call each other, hey, you know what? I need for you to come do a blood draw for me. Do you have time? Yes, I have time. You call me, I'll have time no matter what. I love doing blood draws. So we'll go to the blood draw, we'll take it in, we'll spin it, and then the next day, if it's after hours, the lab will take it the next day to get it processed, and then hopefully that day or by the next day, we should have the proof of positivity or the back from the lab. Yes.
Okay, you guys do a lot, you help a lot with a client. Do you also help with housing? Do you also help if they need food stamps? I mean, is there a process that
Phone
you guys
bills.
have someone to send them to or something?
Yeah, he was just getting into that.
Okay, I'm glad you said it then.
So yes, so say you come into us and, we tested you, you already have a service from the
Oh, wait.
and you're like, well, I'm in the risk of losing where I'm staying because, I lost my job, I can't pay the rent anymore. Okay, so let's work with that, we'll help you pay the rent, okay? Even if you have a job as well, we can still help you, pay the rent and you pay a certain percentage of the rent. But there's certain criteria that you have to put in your own place as well and stay, so that way you can stay with the benefits and have your housing.
But there's no guarantee as well.
Correct, there's no guarantee, that's why it's always like first come, first served basis.
Right.
There's no guarantee that we can put you on housing. That is also a process with a waiting list, just like everywhere else. And so when we say rental assistance, we don't mean endless rental assistance, and the caps are very small. We don't get that type of money, but we do try to assist you. Now, the goal of the city of San Antonio and everybody else that's helping with that is that you try to make effort to pay your rent. But when you come to us with I haven't paid my rent, and it's $4,000, we can't give you that. Nobody can. So what I have learned recently is that if you've had a bout of COVID or something, they will assist you with rent. But even though there is a moratorium on throwing people out of their apartments at this current time, the landlord does have the right to evict you if you've not made any attempts on your own to pay some of that. Even $50 is an attempt. But if you've not made any attempts at all, they can send you out.
Okay.
Because you have not made attempts. So we will help. It's very short term and it's not limitless. It's not like we can't pay you.
If you guys cannot pay the rent, do you send them like to the Carson house for the guys? Do you guys work with the Carson house?
Yes.
You also you were saying about the female,
You need power.
yes.
Yes.
And, okay.
It's a transitional home, and as I mentioned, there's certain criteria you have to meet, and it's only, people that are legal HIV, but it's only that they have infants, we can't help them, they have infants.
Will you ever open one up for men? Because y'all had one for women for a long time, but y'all never had one for men.
I'm not too sure, to be
So
honest.
unless somebody wins the lotto and gives us money,
Right? But maybe that's something we can think about as well, and I can bring that up. Yes,
So you guys work with Carson House?
yeah.
So how do you guys work with Carson House?
The same process, we have to do referrals, see what availability they have as well.
Oh, you guys refer to them?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, that,
Yeah, it's all referral services, availability, what they have, and how we can help our clients as well with that.
oh, okay,
Yes.
that makes sense, okay. Thank you.
Okay, so, again, if anybody, that needs our help or assistance or anything like that, let them know, we still open, still operational with any services that they need. I'm not sure any of you have any other questions. Yes.
Last one. y'all do have a referral as far as meals. Y'all refer them to the
Yes.
other agency, safe. Y'all refer them to them, that way they can get a meal, 3 hot meals for the day.
The meal card, yes, so
Yes.
we do have that, if anybody, needs, maybe, they don't have enough money to buy their own meals throughout the day, or maybe they just have a necessity of being, food. So we do have the meal card that we can access through, Planned Community Foundation, which is we can deposit a little bit of information, the documentation that we need, then we'll refer them to them, and then they can go from there.
But
Yes, we do have that.
anybody who's HIV positive could get it?
I believe so, I'm not too sure, like, the right criteria they need, but the people that we have referred, I've never been denied.
Oh,
Never
okay.
been denied, that's what it is. Denied, never denied about it.
They're funded for that, so, because that's at a federal level, they have to take everyone.
Okay, good, there you go. That's why nobody has to be denied.
Thank you, Wayne.
All right, so I want to thank everybody for those riveting questions for Jojo. I hope you guys learned a lot about beat. I know that a lot of y'all here did. So thank you, Jojo, for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
I hope
Yeah, go, go.
those are hard
So all good questions,
Yeah.
all good questions.
And so now we are going to have our fearless leader, Marc, come up here and talk with our wonderful esteemed guest as well, Sylvia de los Santos.
She's not a guest, she's a member of the board of directors. She's not a guest, she's a member of the board of directors.
Yeah, and Santiago, who's currently in the back room, will be finding it out on whether gays should go and support businesses that are anti-LGBT. So give a round of applause and please welcome.
Here, let her sit on this one. All right. Move this way a little bit. There you go.
Lie, you just don't want to mess us.
Hi, everybody. This is my first time talking to you guys. I have talked before when we were meeting in person, and I'm pretty sure none of y'all will have a problem hearing me, even with the 2 masks on.
What?
I'm just a germaphobe, and tomorrow's my second vaccine, so I'm very excited about that.
Real quick question, which vaccine are you getting?
I'm getting the Moderna shot, and just so that everyone knows, I did have a reaction to the Moderna vaccine, my first shot after seven days.
Wow.
Which was unusual, but they are finding that more and more people are having those reactions.
Were they severe? How were they?
It wasn't severe, and it wasn't painful or anything else, but it felt probably like I maybe had COVID, but I also have a rash on my arm. So don't be alarmed if you go get your first time Moderna shot and something happens. They're calling it Moderna arm.
Where did you get your vaccination?
At LPSA02092021 Community Center. And everything was professionally done and everything. It's just a reaction. All I was told by 3 different doctors was that my body's reaction to the vaccine and it's creating antibodies. So maybe that's good. So anyway, this was funny because the guys from Living Positive,
Chick-fil-A.
the guys from Living Positive and I are on the thread, and we were discussing topics for tonight. And Marc came up with an interesting one, which just kind of, I guess it stirred my passion a little bit. And, no, it stirred my passion a lot because I couldn't stop talking about it. And so Marc said, what about talking about guys or the LGBTQ community? Are they hurting themselves by supporting anti-LGBT businesses? And that's when my
voted for Trump too, I bet.
Probably. So, that is something that I'm very passionate about as someone who has been fighting for LGBT rights for such a long time. Not as some of my friends have who were arrested for fighting for those very rights that a lot of people are enjoying right now. But I've stood in freezing cold temperature. I've stood in freezing cold temperatures fighting for the rights to marry when only 10 people showed up because it was too cold to stand out there. I've attended marches. I have stood at corners where I was called all kinds of things. And so I take it very personally because, I guess because I would say that some people have only their best interest at heart. I have what, in my heart, what's in the best interest of everyone. And I'm not just fighting for those with HIV, I'm fighting for everybody. You know, and it doesn't matter even if you're LGBT, but that's my community, so of course I'm going to support it the most. So, when Marc brought up that topic, I said, oh, Lord, why would you support anybody that doesn't support you? And when I thought back, I said, people are going to ask, well, what kind of a crazy-ass topic is that? Sorry, guys. What kind of a crazy-ass topic is that for tonight anyway, you know? What does that have to do with LGBT? Well, let's see. A lot of my LGBT friends are also HIV, and some of my best friends are HIV positive, so supporting the people that don't support you just says that you're giving them the ammunition to fight anti-LGBT legislation, which includes meds, which includes funding for centers, which includes funding for HIV testing, which includes funding for case management, substance abuse and mental health services, and food banks. So ask yourself, is it okay with you if your friends lose all that? I mean, that's where I'm looking at it from, and it's not okay. So I am very fortunate that I have a partner who supports me in all of that, because we're running out of places we can eat at, and I'm okay with that. You know, and some might say, well, gosh, I'm this age, or I'm that age, or whatever. You know, it's not like I have forever to eat Chick-fil-A. I'll only be eating it for 20 more years. But, well, you know what? Too bad. There's better chicken sandwiches, and I've been to other places, and I can have those instead. And I'm not fighting against my brothers and sisters out there. So that's kind of my spin a little bit, and I'm sure I'll get into it with probably Santiago, not Marc, but I want to hear what they have to say about that.
Santiago? So, I just looked it up really quick right now. Boycotting Chick-fil-A. Here are 243 other companies you might want to avoid. Who likes Taco Bell? Yo, this guy. Who likes H&M?
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yep. Who likes Bed Bath & Beyond? Exactly. So a lot of these companies are not.
H&M has a whole pride line and everything.
Yeah, it's not H&M.
Again, I'm just reading off the phone.
Wait, what are you looking at?
I am looking up actually City Life Philadelphia. This information is a little old. It's 4/1/2019. But even then, these are companies that we already talked about already. You want to go after Chick-fil-A, but you're more worried about the LGBTQ part. But what about Sundays when they're closed? So are you against the religious part too as well? Because I'm okay with that. I'm okay that they give their employees Sunday off, just like Hobby Lobby. So you're asking me to choose my choice of who I'm having sex with versus who I praise to on Sundays. Because they're LGBTQ. I have to support.
That's the Christian company, the Chick-fil-A is a Christian company, am I correct? Would they support everybody?
We're talking about Chick-fil-A?
So that Sunday that you're all off, that I was raised Pentecostal, what those people are, and on that Sunday when they're off, they're in church praying to God that you die because you deserve what you got.
But not everybody that works there is Pentecostal either. I'm pretty sure
But the main guy from the very top is, and he.
Well, he is too.
Huh?
I mean, you're right. He may be, but not everybody that works for him is Pentecostal.
Right, but at the end of the day, who's making the money? If the little kids are just getting their $10
If that.
If that. He's, at the end of the day, he gets the $3, $4, $5, $6 million bonuses for the numbers they produce, and he's for their shareholders, and he's the one that it impacts. So he's the one that gives the money to Trump. Let's say he gave money to Trump because he couldn't buy because we put it in his pockets. So that I'm not saying the young kids can't do whatever they want to. All I'm saying is that the young kids have nothing to do with it as much as the person at the top, and it's always the person at the top. It's like your CEOs. Whoever runs the shit is the one that makes the decisions most of the time. I'm not opposed to being closed on Sundays. I used to work every Sunday and I represented it, you know, because I wanted to go to church and stuff like that, but I couldn't. I chose that job. That was my choice.
Hell, in the day, blue law, we didn't even have to be open.
But what I'm saying is that there are laws that are going to be made against you. And even if you want to praise or at the end of the day, you're still an LGBT person. And those laws are meant to hurt you.
There's always going to be something to hurt me.
Absolutely.
One way or another.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's like Home Depot. Okay, I love Home Depot. But that has
Doesn't mean you do.
honey, I can't even sew a button on a shirt. So
Oh my God.
Home Depot doesn't help me.
You're falling into the cliches.
But my point is that Home Depot, you know, I said, I'm not going to shop there after I learned that man was giving tremendous amounts of money to Trump. And people said, well, it's his money. He can do anything he wants with it. You know what? You're damn right. He sure the hell can. But you know what? I don't have to feed into it. Now, let me tell you, I know where Santiago says he got his information from, but let me tell you where I get my information from. Once a year, my partner, my wife and I make a donation to the Human Rights Campaign, okay? Sometimes twice a year, if it's an election year like it was last year, we make 2 donations to them. I have very few charities I give to, but Human Rights Campaign, they put out every year, because they've done the work and the research, the Corporate Equality Index. The Corporate Equality Index grades each company that you're talking about and scores them on their how they treat their LGBT employees. Do they get the raises on time? Are they able to move up in their company? If you go to the Human Rights Campaign's website and check their Corporate Equality Index, I guarantee you it will tell you who the companies are that you should shop for, because there are companies that are backing us in so many ways. And that number has grown like crazy. I'm not telling you not to go somewhere. Eat all the Chick-fil-A you want until you throw up or
Thank you, because I love
or your cholesterol gets down.
I like food.
Sylvia, what was that name one more time? Corporate
Equality Index. And it's pretty extensive, so you can look up a lot of things under the Corporate Equality Index. But you will find out how I've done my research. In the past, they have given out books and things like that. Now, of course, everything's online. So you can go to that and you can find out just what the rankings are of the particular companies you shop at. You know, and that's what I use. Now we also don't eat Little Caesars. We don't eat Domino's. I have to check again on what.
Oh, wait. You don't eat Little Caesars. But I'm pretty sure some people have bought Little Caesars in the past 6 months.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they have too. And if you brought it and you paid for it, that's your damn money. I didn't put any in it. I didn't say I wasn't going to eat it. I said I wasn't going to eat it with my money. That's what I said.
Oh, but if I buy it, you'll eat.
Only if there's nothing else to eat. Only if there's nothing else to eat and you brought it and it's like, well, shit, I either go.
All right, fine. So next time, I'm just going to bring 2 buckets of Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Go on. Okay, my question is, let's get off Chick-fil-A, the Little Caesars. Let's talk about San Antonio itself.
Okay.
The Pegasus.
Right.
Okay. I don't go to Pegasus. I personally don't go to bars. I have not been to bars in probably, a year or so, a little bit more than that.
Right.
About a year.
Yeah.
Probably because it was the last bar I walked into. That was last year, because a year before. But I do not support the peg. If I was still going to the bars, I would not support it. It's not, that's me. I know you just went there recently. Yeah, you did. And so, that's why we're having this topic, because we, by the way.
So it'll be,
I'm not gonna support it. And anybody who goes and supports a bar like this, that's their choice. I mean, I cannot tell you not to go, but personally, I will not go.
Me either.
It's my choice. I don't support someone who supports Trump in that sense. It's not my thing. You, in the other hand, like you said, you eat and you go wherever you want to go. You have every single right to do that.
In fact, yes.
Okay, that has nothing to do with the fact.
I'm just,
I'm a joke. I know that. Calm down, bitch. And so, but it's your choice,
right.
to do those things, go to those places. Let me ask you, why do you go to bed?
You know, it's not because it's an amazing bar, because it's not. I always smell like fabuloso. Fabuloso is the Mexican version of
Pine Sol.
pine sol. But I go there because sometimes they do have pretty good drink specials. I go there because sometimes the music I like, not all the time. But I've been there, and I've been there with a couple other people that are against Trump too. You know, to me, it's just a bar. Yeah, I can go to any other bar, but sometimes I just don't feel it. I've been going to that bar since I won't say a kid, but I've been going there for the longest time. When the Saint was there, when Silver Dollar was there, and Pegasus was
And the smell hasn't changed.
and you're right, the smell hasn't changed. But for somebody to tell me, don't go there, actually, truthfully, I haven't even been there in the longest time. I went there because I wanted to drink on Sunday when I went, after,
Super Bowl Sunday.
yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. It was on Super Bowl Sunday. I went there for a couple of drinks, a couple of cute little drinks. But for me to make a choice, I would rather go there. Now, there's other clubs that you go to that I wasn't too crazy about. Annex being one of them. It had nothing to do with politics, but that was not my bar. That was not my scene. So I'm gonna go where my scene is. And I understand, because it's been told me, you're funding this guy that's funding Trump. Okay, but there's still a whole bunch of other bars that are pretty much down low that won't tell you they're really funding. That won't really, you really don't know. You're giving them business, you're giving them money, you're giving them all this stuff, but you don't know.
Right, and as soon as I know they are too, then I'm out of there also. That's just the point. That is my point. Once I know, I'm out of it. Should I do it that way? Should I not? I don't know. And I certainly wouldn't tell you not to go, but I'm not gonna go. I'm just saying, so when, let's say, this is a long shot, but let's say this person that owns Pegasus had gotten elected, and we have a majority Republican party in the Congress. We have a majority Republicans instead of Democrats, which we do now in the Senate, whatever. Then, and all this legislation is being created against you, then what? Then what? So it's okay, well, I mean, I went for it, the drink special was great, yeah, but now I don't get my meds, now I don't get to go to safe, now I don't get to do this, that, and the other, because you did a drink special.
You're right, but are we also trying to support our gay local clubs?
There is other clubs to go to.
Really? The clubs that you like. You
You
like Barrios, that was your scene. That was not my scene. To me, it looked like a funeral home.
Barrios was not my club. I went to Barrios with a partner when I was going there. That's what I went to. It was not my club. Like I said, I'm not a club person. I am freaking 50-year clubs.
Hold on.
On my behalf, I don't belong in the bar. On my behalf, that's how I feel. Okay, you and the other hand, go to your 80 or 90 years old and pretend you're 12 still. But me, I'm not.
So now,
I'm not done yet. To me is, I don't support certain places, but I do go eat at certain places. I'm right in the middle. You With me, I will not support pay. I will not support, probably that's the only thing I will not support.
Exxon?
Chick-fil-A, every once in a while, I will go to Chick-fil-A. Every once in a while, I probably go there once, twice a year, that's it.
Same thing. I haven't been there in about a year.
I have a gift card in my wallet for Chick-fil-A, probably.
But somebody gave that to you.
Yeah, someone gave it to me,
The
and it's
money's
still
already been
in,
spent, you're not spending any extra.
and it's still in my wallet. I still will not go. It's just, no. To me, it's my thing. But I just feel that certain things, certain places, I won't go to support. Bath, you know, is that the way you call it? I do not support that store. I love shopping like crazy, but I will not support that. If I would find out
gotta be
Target was
Target.
giving money to Trump, I would stop going to Target.
Somebody look for it.
They're
So,
not-
you know, wait, since you said that, I just found 9 pro-gay corporations that in the last election cycle gave millions of dollars to anti-gay politicians. They include AT&T, UPS, Comcast, Home Depot, General Electric, FedEx, UBS, Verizon, and Pfizer. Those are the top 9.
We're just targeting that.
You mentioned Target, it's not on the list. But these are companies that normally support LGBT activities.
is a big one.
And yet they gave almost $25 million to anti-gay politicians during this last election cycle. Should we start boycotting them now?
Again, for everybody, it's a personal choice, and I know, some people have told me, you're gonna end up with nowhere to go, nowhere to eat, no cars to buy, and everything. I can't speak for everybody else, I can only do for myself.
Okay, I'm going to give you an example here. It says AT&T donated $2,755,000 to a total of 193 anti-gay politicians. Yet, they contributed to gay rights organizations nearly $25 million. We have to look at how much is going to anti-gay and how much is going to gay
Right, but
rights.
there are some that already aren't doing anything at all for the LGBT community. And like I said, that's the community that I live in, that's the community that I am a part of. I'd love to be part of Black Lives Matter, I'd love to be part of a million other things. I just don't have the time. So I'm sticking within what I know, which is LGBT and HIV, and going with that. I know a lot of my friends depend on those Ryan White services. I know that. I see it every day. I have a soft spot in my heart. I'm doing this for so many years. And so suddenly, we were having a conversation earlier about the cost of meds and stuff like that. If people are okay with putting $2,000 out of their own pocket for the meds, oh, that's right, you can't, because it costs too damn much. Then let me do my part by not going to those places and giving them the money to use that kind of wield that kind of power against you so that those things get taken away.
And look, and I'm not going against you, I commend you for doing that. You're a pioneer, let's go with that. I'm not talking that you're a pioneer lady like back in the day, but you're a pioneer of supporting the stuff,
I
whatever.
wrote my stage one.
Yeah, you wrote your stage coach over here. But what I'm saying is, let's say the only service that you get at home is AT&T, but Spectrum doesn't cover you. So are you just not going to get AT&T? Because remember, you need that cable, you need that internet to be working from home. What are you going to do?
Again, I think you're going to have to look at the balances, like the $2.5 million they gave to the anti-gay population versus the $20 million plus that they gave to the gay rights organizations. So
That's all I could do. Now, I looked up on the corporate equality index again last night. I looked up Home Depot and I said, well, let me see. Because I'm willing to go back and say, hey, are you working with me? Are you giving us a chance? Have you opened your eyes? And you know what? I found out that there was a couple of places that had. And I said, oh, well, okay. Still didn't find Chick-fil-A. Still didn't find Home Depot. I said, well, let's go to heaven. And so
I do have another question. I know that some of the gift cards that were sometimes distributed were from Chick-fil-A at gay organizations. Would you have gone? Because I know we're probably looking at the big picture of the national organization itself. You know, some of the smaller ones are gay-owned and support gay rights. So.
And there was, remember the Pulse shooting, which was about the LGBT community?
Yes.
The Chick-fil-A opened up a restaurant that day on a Sunday and fed the emergency care workers, everybody that was out there taking care of the first responders, everything. They went and took them like, I don't know, hundreds of meals. You know, yay. But you can't step on me for that long and think that one gesture is going to mean something. You know, I don't know where it really came from. Did it really come from your heart? Are you trying to make amends with the LGBT community? What are you trying to do? And if you haven't changed your stuff after all that, you know, that was a one-time show for whatever purposes, then I'm still not interested in you. Now, when you talk about a Chick-fil-A gift card, if it was me, I just don't.
Here's the bingo.
But again, I think we have to look at
on the
is,
Christmas party. I think last Christmas party, I gave a Chick-fil-A cards. Those were given to me. They were donated. And the person who donated those cards they were given to him. He did not want them because he did not support Chick-fil-A, so he gave it to me. So I was not gonna throw it away. There's no way I was gonna do that. So I gave them out. If you guys use them, got them, use them, that's good. I mean, it's not money that you said. It's not money that's
again,
out of my pocket, I live positive, or out of my friends, I would donate the cards.
I have to, and I do this. I look at local Chick-fil-A's. How do they contribute to our gay community? I realize the larger company does not support us, but we do have some local franchisees who do support the gay community. And I personally have to look at that before I decide I'm not going to eat at that Chick-fil-A or I'm not going to eat there. Because if that specific organization or that specific restaurant is supporting me or business is supporting the gay rights, then I am willing to give my money to that specific organization.
Right, you just said it, you just nailed it. You gotta see, are they a corporate or they're a franchise? Because if they're a franchise, it's gonna be, they're just renting the name. They are not really Chick-fil-A. So their thoughts might be totally different. They might be very LGBTQ friendly, but because that name is associated with them, now we're back. Oh, we're not going to give them business, this and that, third. It might be somebody that's LGBTQ that owns it.
It could be.
It could be. Because for him, he wants to own a business.
Right.
So he needs our money.
And associate yourself with someone who has credibility and who doesn't speak that language of hate. That's what you want a business, then line up with a business that is inclusive and is about everyone.
See, I understand what you're saying, but again, let's say I was a dishwasher at Chick-fil-A. We just keep on picking on Chick-fil-A. But let's say I was there washing dishes, and then I moved myself up the ladder. And then I'm starting to find myself. I was like maybe 16, 17. Now I'm starting to find myself 21, 22. You know what? Yeah, I'm gay. I like sucking dick. You know, whatever. But now the manager looking at me, he's like, you know what? You got potential. You know what? We're moving you to manager. We're moving you to district manager, general manager. You know what? One day, you could own a franchise. You know what? You're thinking to yourself, you know what? I've been doing good with this. Yeah, I'm gay, but I still want to own something. If they're giving me the opportunity to own my own franchise, yes, I'm going to do it.
Sure you would. You'd be crazy not to. But on
Exactly.
the other hand, I mean, okay, so let me go back a little bit, okay? There was a movie, I have two favorite movies in the whole world, and I probably watch each one over 100 times, and it's Scarface. Not the Scarface from the 1930s, the Scarface with Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Okay, that is like one of my absolute most favorite movies in the whole world. And there is a part in there where Al Pacino has not they just finished hanging from a helicopter. He
No,
says,
you're right.
he asked that to Tony from Scarface, how do I know you're not like that too? And Tony Montana, Scarface, tells him, look, Sosa, there's only two things I got in this world. That's my brains and my balls. My word and my balls.
You look the same. Hey, you want the Bob movie, bro?
My word and my balls, and I don't break them for nobody. I refuse at this stage in the game to break my word to anybody. And if I say I support you 100. That's it. I am behind you all the way, whatever it is. My friend needs me for Black Lives Matter, I'm out there, okay? You have an HIV cause, I'm out there. Because that's all I got is my word. And when I
Right,
say I
but when
support
you say, I don't support these groups, but yet, if we're being catered, and the catering company is one of these that are on the list, are you going to eat it or not eat it at all? Because if you're a true advocate, and I'm not trying to put you in the spot, but if you're saying I don't support them, then I'm not going to eat them. I will die of hunger.
Okay, so let me give you an example. Right during the pandemic, Terry and I, my wife, and I were going to have a celebration of our union and everything else. After all the years we've been together, we have never had a true celebration.
Which we were invited to, but okay.
No, well, I never got to plan it because of the damn pandemic. And so we talked a little bit about, well, who would we want to cater this? You know, and of course, all I could see was dollar signs. You know, I'm the cheapo of the group. But anyway, she mentioned, well, remember, and there's a caterer. I'm not ever going to mention that person's name, but anyway, there's a caterer, and we talked about him, and I said, no. He'd take your money and mine as a businessman, but he's very anti-LGBT, and I know that for a fact. And I said, so cross him off. His food's damn good, I guarantee you. But she didn't know that about him, so that's to go, oh, the hell with that then. We don't want him. I said, that's right, we don't.
And that's a local, that was a local company.
That's a local caterer.
See, I would do
They'll take
that.
my money in a second, because our money is just as green as everybody's, and that's the way I see it. Our money is just as green as everybody. Oh, they don't give a damn. They love me right now. Then they'll go, oh my God, did you see all the bags we have to serve tonight or whatever? Hell no, I'm not putting myself in that position. Hell no. And if my money is green, I'd rather you and your husband go on a vacation with the money I gave you for your catering services, because I paid you, because I chose wisely, than to pay that pendejo to go on one with his wife, and then he talks about all the bags he has to serve. You know what? Go to hell. That's just my opinion. I'm stuck on that. It's never gonna change. It's never gonna change.
Well, like I said, I'm fine with it.
Oh, it's nice to have a voice of reason.
It's just,
We give you your
I
night.
agree with you, and I agree with you.
Sure.
Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody's gonna do what they're gonna do. I support some organizations, and I may not support others, like that. It's just, that's my thing. But yes, Renee?
Well, Sylvia, just like a person can grow and change, can a company grow and change?
Absolutely, and that's why I said, just like last night, I did look at that over again. You know, what it is that got them scored the way they got scored, and some of those things were things that were important. Which shows me that they have the ability to listen and the ability to change. So yes, absolutely. That we have a thing called, I don't know how much y'all hear about it. I really didn't know what it was all about myself. Cancel culture. Well, Leo said this 30 years ago, and I'm not talking to him ever again.
I did.
Leo might have changed in those 30 years, and I'm willing to say, you know what, that's who he was. If we want the truth, I mean, Hillary wasn't always on for gay marriage, and she evolved, and Trump could too. I'm waiting for it.
President Obama, when he first started, was.
President Obama, yeah. I mean, they were all, so I don't believe in canceling people out, which is why I'm saying, if you say that this is done, and these people at HRC, a great majority of them are volunteers, but they're not Yahoo crackers coming off of a boat checking
It was after.
With that,
And the reason was, from my understanding, is because he started working with, along the military, there was someone, I can't remember the person's name, that was transgender in the Pentagon. They were gonna try to push that person out, and he was like, no, and then he's kind of, evolved, you know.
I'll also say that actually one of the people that he started working with that was gay actually is a citizen of San Antonio and was one of the driving forces behind the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and that's,
Henry Munoz.
thank you. I forgot his name for a second, Eric Oliver.
Who? And also Henry Munoz also. He's the national, he's the Democratic secretary right now.
He's a Democratic something, yeah, I know. And he's
He does a lot of
And
stuff.
it's people like that swayed and changed Obama's position and thoughts on gay equality and gay marriage and things
I
like
brought
that.
that up because, to me, I mean, I don't know. I assume, stuff like it. I assume that some of these people are running for election and all this crap that's going on. They go to the direction of the gay community. They go to the direction of the black community, the Hispanic community, just to get the votes.
which goes to tell you how powerful we are, or they would not be
Exactly.
doing that.
Right.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Look at all the power we have. We're the first ones they turn to. Back in, that happened during this election. I can get the Mexicans, I can get the gays. Damn it, we're a force.
But how powerful are we? Because we could have had our first gay president too. If we all would join forces for Pete, he would have been our president as well.
But me personally, I was looking at experience. Experience with LGBT friendly. I would love to have a gay president.
And that's not to say that Pete won't be president in 8 years.
He didn't have the experience.
True that.
What? I'm sorry.
So that's not to say Pete could be president in 8 years.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Or 4.
you're right,
For me, it
or
was
4.
experience. That's all it was with Pete.
Right.
And I know that Kamala Harris was actually really instrumental in California. She was one of the front runners on all LGBTQIA platforms. Nancy Pelosi also, if you look back at her stuff when she first started being in the House, I read the other day when I think she was like, it was like 1998 or something like that. Her first thing is talking about getting HIV/AIDS funding.
With Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying, look, we need to support these. That's not my argument. But my argument is give me my choice. You know, it's bad enough that other people tell us, well, we need to do this, or you can't be gay, or you can't do this. But what I am saying is, if I want to go have a piece of chicken, I want to have a piece of chicken. If I want to go spend my money at Bed Bath and Beyond, I'm going to do that. Because that's what I like.
Okay.
Maybe I don't want to buy a Yankee.
But no one's taking your choice away.
Yeah.
No one is.
You're sounding like a Republican that doesn't want to give us our equal rights.
Where we stand. Where we stand. I'm not telling you, I'm never going to talk to you anymore. You see, people are right here. And so.
Did Mark just buzz on camera?
And so.
He can do whatever he wants. He can do what he wants.
Well, what I'm saying is, no one's taking that choice away from you. We might tell you, we don't agree with you, because basically that's what we're telling you. But we're not telling you not to do it. That is your choice.
If I start taking your choices away, then I'm just joining the Republican Party because they want to take all your choices
Yeah,
away.
exactly.
Every damn thing. But I'm just saying, consider it. I'm just saying, think about it. I can't. This is what I said on the thread last night, and Leo responded in some funny way, and I said, there's a lot of people right now screaming nothing about us without us. Well, damn straight. That's the way it works. Nothing about me without me. And if you know what, you're not going to get my money. You're not going to get my support. You're not going to get anything. You want to spend $100 on Chick-fil-A, you go right ahead. I'm not going to.
I'm not spending $100. Y'all know me. I'm cheap.
I'm not going to because at the end of the day, when I'm stepping up there and I'm going to St. Peter's, I ask me, what did I do? I did everything I could. I swear to God, I did everything I could. And there was nothing left for me to do. There was nothing left for me to do, St. Peter. That's it.
You know, we've been rambling on the whole time, and I didn't even think about it. Does anybody have questions or comments? Wayne?
No.
support Exxon in buying their gas.
No.
And the reason I bring that up is they're the ones that polluted our oceans. British Petroleum down in the Gulf of Mexico.
BP.
I don't support those two, and will never.
Right, but again, is this?
And that's not a gay issue.
Related.
Yeah, it's not a gay issue, but it's an issue about, it goes along the same principle.
Where I spend my money.
Where you're gonna spend your money and who are you gonna support?
I don't support Cracker Barrel. I don't know
Nope.
Cracker
Nope.
Barrel. They have a history of racism.
Of firing their managers on spot.
Not anymore, but still.
Assuming that they hired that.
You know, and again, I'm going down this list and just picking a couple. Pet Boys. Philip Morrison.
You were wrong about H&M though. You were wrong about it.
Bill Miller. I don't need Bill Miller.
Oh, no, actually,
Again, this list is from whatever date I just told you earlier.
Equality index is the list you want to look
Well,
at.
then I will send you this right now.
He's reading it right now.
Okay, guys.
We have a question.
Renee.
We're going into, green jobs going forward. Are green job companies LGBTQ friendly?
Typically they are.
Yeah? Because I'm not sure about, I'm not really familiar with any companies.
I mean, that's where, you have to do your research to find out how they are.
But typically they would be environment, obviously because of the environment, they're very protective of that. And usually people who can't go along the same lines. I protect the environment, I protect people, I protect animals, you know what I'm saying? Like there's like a series of what you protect. So I would say probably they are, just again, like they said, research.
Okay, that will be it for the conversation. Thank you, Santiago. Thank you, Sylvia. We don't know the way it kind of ended up, but it's okay.
It did it? How we will get, no, how are you playing?
I don't know, it just, in my head, it's totally different.
I think we had a pretty good date.
No, I don't think, yeah.
Because actually I did learn about other companies that I did not know that were not gay friendly. That we both didn't know, we didn't know about Domino's or Little Caesars. And we order it.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know about Little Caesars either.
That was brand new for us. Oh, by the way, happy Taco Tuesday. I just forgot. I just wore the shirt for it.
Okay. So, on that note, I'm gonna bring Leo up again. Yes, Leo? So we're gonna close it out. Yes. Me and you. Here goes the
Why do we off?
No, I can't.
Thank you, everybody.
Get back.
I want to thank Jojo from V-Days for joining us tonight. It was really exciting. I know you were telling me to shut up and stop asking questions, but I got a little excited.
That was good.
Good.
Hey there.
Why are we cussing? Marc, Marc, you have a potty mouth now. That works good. It's about to get real, right?
Oh, Lord. Anybody has any topics for the future, let us know. I have a good one I want to bring up here pretty soon with Santiago. I'm going to be in Santiago, and I actually want to put Leo on the spot too. About what?
Hey, Marc says, Neil says shut up.
Yeah. Let me know. About what age should you stop going to the bar?
Oh!
Say that again?
Yes, I would love to go with Santiago.
Go for it.
So I have my opinion, he has his, I don't know what Leo stands in.
You should never stop going.
Yes.
Well, it's just something that, we'll discuss.
I mean, 51 yet.
Yeah, anything to say?
Yes. So tonight we will release episode 2 of Living Positive Unfiltered. You can find them on Spreaker, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and Geo7. remember that if you are looking for these podcasts, make sure that you are able to look at explicit content, because we do talk explicitly with adult language and we talk about adult situations. So it is explicit for a reason. So be prepared.
And this coming from the child of the group.
Yes. And we will actually be releasing podcast episodes every week from now on instead of every other week. I believe this week we are continuing the conversation of outing, and then next week we will be talking about STDs, who's had them, and what made us get these STDs, what symptoms we had, things like that. So you're going to hear a lot of in-depth information about the living positive board members that you probably don't want to know, but are going to know. So we hope you like it. And Marc, you want to talk about the drag show?
The drag show.
The quilt. Quilting.
The drag show, again, we're on the plan.
Yeah.
It's still working on details.
Okay.
It's just
And right now, it's still possibly in March, right?
Yeah, it's something that Gilbert's working with Christy Waters and Jose, get all the details straightened out. As soon as we do get all the details, we will post it on Facebook. We'll let you guys know. On that, we will be
Raffling on?
yes, some gifts on the drag show that will benefit Living Positive. We do have a cash app out there. It's LPSA02092021. If you guys want to donate,
Dollar sign at the beginning.
Yeah, dollar sign.
yes, dollar sign. Sorry. If you guys want to donate, help us out. Keep on going. Please do help out. Anything will help. We have a GoFundMe.
Fund me.
Is it up yet?
It is up. All you got to do is go, if you go to our Facebook page, Living Positive, you can actually click on the link if you want to donate, or if you want to share the link, you can do that. So yeah, it is up and ready to go.
And we do take paper check and cash, but just make the paper check payable to Living Positive San Antonio.
Yes.
Yes.
And thank you to everybody who's donated so far.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, so we started a GoFundMe because we are going to bring down the AIDS Memorial Quilt in December for World AIDS Day this year. We are partnering with Fiesta Youth, and so we are asking for donations so that way we could help in creating a quilt of our very own, and potentially have it become part of the quilts, because as of recently, the quilt is going to be put away for storage for good. So we would like to bring it down for the community to witness and learn about the history of HIV and AIDS, and remember all those that passed and celebrate their lives.
I also want to point out that we will be selling squares also for that quilt. So if you know somebody that you want to be on that quilt and have a square, we will get you more information about that as it happens.
In the next couple of weeks. What's the topic? Who we have next week?
Next week, we will be having SAFE, and Anna Luna will be here doing that. And the week after, we have the Fax Clinic with Leah Jones, I believe is her name.
Okay. Do we have a topic for tomorrow after you say?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Tuesday. Oh my God. Tuesday.
HIV dementia is real.
Well, we have a list we can choose from.
But
So.
we want to thank you guys, and we will see you all next week. Please look out for the podcast. I will post the links for the podcast so you guys can listen to it there. We love you all, and good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.